I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Right.
Fucking thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
Anyone claiming that America's economy is in decline is peddling fiction.
I've abandoned free market principles to save the free market system.
But we have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
Raising the debt ceilings does not increase our debt. It does not somehow promote profligacy.
I know words. I have the best words. Nobody knows the system better than me, which is why I alone can fix it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Peddling Fiction Podcast. I'm your host, the voice and soul of so-called fiction, Johnny Profita. And back with me to get this week started is the one and only Justin Hillbilly Boy Campbell. How you doing over there?
Good. I'm excited. It's my last night of work this week, and then tomorrow morning I go and have the consult with the surgeon and find out when I'm going to get fixed, and then I can get over this shit. So, yay! There's like light at the end of the tunnel.
All right, then we can stop talking about your esophagus. That'll be great.
Yeah, that will
appreciate that.
Yes, everybody, especially me, will appreciate it.
All right. Well, should we start with the government shutting down again?
Sure.
Just get out of the way. I just find this. I mean, we've probably had to do. Should we look up how many shutdowns there have been since? I mean, the first one I remember was Barack Obama over like Obamacare. Hillbilly boy, oh, throat goat. Yeah, we might have to adjust your nomenclature to the throat goat. But the first big shutdown that I remember was under Obama. And since it seems to happen every administration, there's at least one due to the fact that the country's completely broke. And it's amazing to watch them hem and haw and argue over these stupid little things that make it, in the long run, no difference whatsoever. I mean, I don't even know what they're arguing on this one over. I sent you that. We can go through that article, but we just don't have the money. So we keep bumping up against the debt ceiling that they keep raising. That's the problem. The problem is that we keep raising the debt ceiling and hitting it within the same administration. It's not that like they act like the ceiling's the problem and not the fact that they keep spending like ridiculous amounts of money and there's just no way of funding it. So once again, at midnight tonight, the government's officially out of funding, and they're going to pretend to shut it down. Unfortunately for you and me, and probably a lot of the listeners, we don't get a real shutdown. They just shut down like, stuff that doesn't even really matter. Although there is, in that article I sent you, they were talking about Trump was gonna permanently lay off a bunch of employees. But how permanent is this stuff ever? You know, they could say it's permanent, but they're already talking about bringing back some of the people that were let go during the whole Doge thing earlier this year.
Yeah, they're especially on the IRS side of things. There's a bunch of IRS agents that got let go that they're talking about bringing back. Apparently, they don't have anybody that knows what they're doing. Like, okay, cool, then just shut it down. Like, We don't need that.
Right. I mean, just imagine like the way they govern is so chaotic. I can't believe anybody has any faith in this institution anymore. And they keep blaming, oh, if we shut down now, this is on Republicans because they control the House. Okay, fine. But like the whole thing is broken, clearly. If we're bumping up against a government shutdown once or twice per administration now. Actually, I think I typed it into Grok. There have been 21 government shutdowns, according to Grok, since the modern federal budgeting process began in 1976. So the first shutdown was one day in 1980. I find it interesting that they started as soon as we went off the gold standard. They started to have these budgeting issues with the budget process and them spending too much money. And it's within 10 years of going off the gold standard, we get our first shutdown. 1 day, 2 days in 81, 2 more instances a day each in 82, 83 a day, 84 a couple days, 2 1 days, 1 day. So basically every year in the 80s.
Yeah, and say there were 8 shutdowns during Reagan's administration alone, but every one of them was 1 or 2 days. So it was like
1995 under Clinton, there were 2 instances, 5 days and 21 days, major standoffs over Medicare, education, and environmental funding. What are we talking about now? I know they're talking about healthcare spending.
But what are they talking about with healthcare spending, Johnny?
Making sure that illegals get free healthcare.
Yeah, the Democrats are holding out and going to shut down the government to ensure that every right winger on the planet should be making memes and graphics and putting out content, blasting that all over everything. Like, this is why, as if anybody gives a fuck about the government shutting down, but like, this is why the Democrats want to shut down the government so that they can guarantee funding for health care for illegals. Like, that's the thing that is like the hill that they'll die on to shut the government down, is funding for health care for illegals. Never mind me or you or U.S. citizens or, like, I don't know, trying to keep people safe after we've seen a wave of leftist violence. We've seen all of these. There's at least 3 more stories of black guys who had been arrested. One of them had been arrested 34 fucking times and like broke into some chick's home and executed her, like, gangland style. Like, nothing about keeping people safe. And, we've got to secure healthcare for illegals. Fuck these motherfuckers.
It's a really dumb hill to die on, because it's not even like a really popular issue with the vast majority of American people, Democrats or Republicans. I also find it just kind of funny that, so like, Trump's this fascist dictator, then they should be in favor of shutting down the government, right? Like a full shut, like, let's just shut the whole thing down. Not like claiming that they're sitting in what I saw, Pocahontas is out there. Oh yeah, we're here in Washington D.C. We're ready to keep this government to keep this going and lower healthcare prices for everybody. It's like, first of all, none of that's ever happened. And why would you want to keep the fascist dictatorship going? So yeah, there was one under Obama for 16 days in 2013. And then there was like a couple days in 2018 for Trump. And then 2018 to 2019, there was a 35-day shutdown, the longest in history under Donald Trump. Somehow we survived.
And that was where they were
35 days without the government.
That was where they were fighting over the border wall, amongst other things.
Yes, border wall impasse. And then 1 day under Biden, last-minute budget agreement failure resolved quickly. And here we go again. And, a lot of, like, they just shut down like stupid shit that nobody really even notices. All the essential functions remain intact, which why does the government have non-essential functions? Would be my first question. Like, if it's not essential and they're admitting that we don't need it, why have it at all? Each one of these shutdowns, like whatever is shut down, shouldn't come back. I don't think anybody would have noticed if any of these things that were shut down over the last 50 years, 40 years, whatever it is, 45 years, like if the things that they shut down never opened up again, would anybody have noticed?
When they all get back paid too. So it's not like it hurts. Yeah. It doesn't affect anything. Oh my God, these poor government employees are going to go without a paycheck. Like, all right, have you seen how much they make? Okay, they'll be fine.
Yeah, somebody tweeted that. I mean, their average salary is like 50% higher than the average, salary in the private sector. And of course, the private sector has to pay for these bloated government salaries, and they get these crazy pensions. They're talking about if so economists estimate, take that with a grain of salt, as many as 640,000 workers could be sidelined, lifting the unemployment rate by 0.4 percentage points to 4.7. Oh no. But that's the unemployment we need. Like, we need this shutdown. Every time we bump up against these budget things, it's a big red like flashing light that's like, yo, you have to cut something. Like, you have to stop doing what you're doing. And they never do. They just double down on everything. They get some sort of deal, and you get the worst of both worlds. Yeah, how to fund the government through fiscal 2026. Like, how are they going to fund it? How they always fund it, by borrowing and spending.
Here's an interesting, I wonder how they feel, how the left feels about this one. The Department of Health and Human Services is preparing to furlough 41% of its staff. As much as they hate RFK Jr. and everything that he's trying to do with the Department of Health and Human Services, are the Democrats mad about that? Like how do they feel about that? Are they excited? They're like, yeah, fuck RFK Jr. Fire all of them. They're not going to tell us not to take Tylenol. Or like the wishy-washiness of the left is insane. Like, I want to know how they feel about this, because they hate RFK and they hate all of this stuff that Trump's government's doing, but they also can't fathom a world where the government shuts down. They need it to keep running. It's like, wait, you
need the fascist dictator to keep going.
I mean, at least we're consistent. We want it shut down regardless of who's in charge. It's like, I don't care which side. I don't care which side of the aisle is in charge of things. I want them to shut it down for as long as fucking possible.
These are great opportunities to shut down like large swaths of it. And it's funny, like, it's throughout this article, they're like, oh, there could be data blackouts, Justin. We might not get the government economic data on time. Imagine that.
Imagine the data that's literally never been right at any point ever. That's tragedy of tragedies. Also, I don't know if you've paid attention. You definitely have. I don't know if anybody listening has. Every time we've had a government shutdown, the market goes up the next 2 days. So just saying, like, this is not trading advice, but if it's going to hit, it might be a good opportunity to take some positions and get ready to ride it up a little bit over the next couple of days. Just throwing it out there. Just saying. This is not trading advice, just, observation of things that have happened in the past. When the government shuts down, the market takes a run. So,
yeah, and they're thinking it's going to be like at least 3 weeks, 2 weeks, something like that, 2 to 3 weeks. I hope it's longer. Would love to. I mean, lay off 640,000. Fine, good. Bye. 41% of it, Health and Human Services. Adios. That's like a good start. But to just, they're just going to come to some stupid fucking deal and then spend some more money they don't have on things we don't need. Like, I don't even, like, how is this even a thing anymore? It's just going through these bizarre rituals. It's like, does anybody even really care about a government shutdown anymore? I mean, I know the people that work for the government, like all these politicians whose entire livelihood is based on being able to rob the American people and bilk the system for everything that it's worth. Sure, they want to stay in business. But I mean, just imagine if nobody said anything. There was no press on it. Like, they just had to start getting rid of government services. How much government do you think we could get rid of, legitimately get rid of, before anybody fucking noticed?
Well, and the biggest problem with it is a lot of this stuff, they won't even stop working. They'll just continue to work for free and then get their back pay later. Like,
yeah,
they're going to furlough all these people and do all this stuff. They're not doing shit.
Unfortunately not. But then they just get to use it as like some sort of political bludgeon. Be like, oh yeah, Donald Trump couldn't keep the government open. It's like, okay, yeah, right.
And when it's very obvious which side is the ones that are going to shut it down, and they've made it very public why they're going to shut it down. It's like they're being completely transparent about it, which I guess thanks to Trump, that's more transparency in government. But
yeah. Well, and he's also I heard he's sending in the National Guard to Portland and Chicago. Portland, I guess, has been having a lot of issues with people attacking their ICE facility out there.
Yeah, Antifa's been on one. Did you see the thing I sent you where they attacked Ice Cube's tour bus? They say that it's not confirmed that it was Antifa, but they firebombed Ice Cube's tour bus. It said ICE on the side of it.
Yeah, I did see that. It's like, oh man, you just can't make this stuff up. It's too goddamn ridiculous. It's too goddamn ridiculous.
This is the problem. This is what the Democrats' solution to crime and violence and stuff is.
Recognizes defunding the police, which is what this says. The entire time. This is so typical of what the Democrats do now. After your policies have transparently failed and led to the deaths of millions of Americans, now you say you've never heard of defunding the police. Your own report recommends it on page after page after page. Let me ask you about something else you say. Here's what you say we ought to invest in. Instead of funding the police, here's what we ought to invest in. We need to invest in programs that acknowledge the need for safe space initiatives led by lesbian, gay, bisexual, two-spirit, trans, and gender nonconforming people. What's two-spirit?
Well, look, I don't know exactly. You guys are pulling some interesting quotes.
This is from your report.
If you look at the report, the focus is on investing in violence intervention, outreach workers.
You say that you shouldn't invest in the police, but we ought to invest in two-spirit community programs that acknowledge two-spirit individuals.
We are not going to discriminate against that. We're not going to discriminate against any nonprofit that wants to help us prevent violence in our community.
What is two-spirit? You say don't fund the police, but do fund programs that create safe spaces for two-spirit people. What is? I just want to know. I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is.
Well, I honestly, I'm not completely aware of the language or
you wrote the report.
This is my favorite part. He's like, y'all are pulling some crazy stuff out. It's from the report that you literally wrote. What do you mean we're pulling some crazy stuff out? You wrote the fucking report, dude.
Of course, dude. They don't read any of this shit.
They don't write them. That some fucking intern somewhere wrote this for this guy, and then he rubber stamped his name on it. He never even read it.
Yeah, the two spirits. I think that has something to do with the Indians. Could be wrong though. The feathers, not the dots. Yeah, I'm trying to get rid of the shit. The Chicago segment. He's got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do over there. Because Mayor, whatever Trump does to clean up Chicago, Mayor Brandon will reverse it and make it 10 times worse. I guarantee you that. Jesus, I got fucking napkins flying everywhere. Yeah, so I mean, like, The I don't know, like the whole let's send in the National Guard to these cities. Like, what are you supposed to do when it gets to this point where you just have like unmitigated disaster of a city with people?
Well, apparently, objectively speaking, it worked in Washington D.C. Like, they took care of a lot of the homeless problem and a lot of other issues that D.C. was having with their mobilization of the National Guard pretty quickly. So it's like, okay, I get it. Like, it seems to be relatively effective. Is martial law necessarily a good thing? I mean, no. But like you were saying, like, what are you supposed to do? Like, when these cities just allow violence to run rampant, when they're, more worried about yes, there are two wolves inside of you and they're both gay.
Oh man.
So, yeah, I mean, when that's the things that the Biden administration was recommending as solutions as police solutions, instead of actually like trying to clean up the problems, it's like, I mean, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, we're surprised it didn't work. We are surprised that in the wake of the most violent riots we've had in my lifetime, that pulling back on police presence didn't make it any better. Violent crime got worse, despite speaking of losing government statistics, I mean, all these like bullshit FBI statistics up for all these cities where they just stopped reporting certain things and refused to turn the data over, so it makes it look like the crime isn't as bad in these cities as it actually is. Yeah, I mean, like it's been the last like 5 years for people in major cities has not been a good time.
Well, I'm trying to find it. Chicago. Speaking of Chicago tried to do a neighborhood policing initiative that was a advanced community-based, where instead of calling the cops for stuff, they were supposed to like self-police. And
yeah, and they had those peacekeepers.
Yeah, but I don't
know. They literally called them. They give them the label of peacekeepers. I probably retweeted some of these. Let me see if I can find them.
Has anything come of that? Because like I remember when it was announced, and then Chicago is currently in the midst of yet another incredibly violent year with a lot of crime, and I haven't seen any statistics on like, is this actually accomplishing anything?
They literally hire these so-called peacekeepers who are like multiple time felons to keep the peace, and lo and behold, they are like creating more crime. It's just like, I honestly, like, they have the most retarded ideas I've ever seen. I'm trying to find this. I could have sworn I retweeted it because it was just so ridiculous. It was like gunfire shootouts, and one of the guys was a peacekeeper involved in the shooting. Like, there was like a couple instances like that over the last couple of weeks. And it's just, yeah, that's not good. Like, a strong police presence would deter some of these shenanigans. Bringing in the National Guard, having them like walking around the streets will probably reduce a lot of the shenanigans. And it's not, I mean, dude, other countries do this, by the way. All these countries in Europe, they have like, dude, they have like fully armed fucking, here in Mexico, they'll have like patrols going down the street and like fucking Humvees with a 50 cal mounted. Would you rather have that or the fucking cartel? Would you rather have that or like fucking gangbangers running around with, some modified, fully automatic pistol that they cannot aim to save their life? Who knows what they're going to hit with that thing? Yeah. Yeah, that's literally exactly what they did. And it backfired. They made the criminals cops, and it fucking backfired. It's shocking. I mean, the craziest thing about it is like every single idea they have is a terrible idea on its face. They implement it, it blows up in their face, and they don't like stop to think, okay, maybe that was a bad idea. They never like address the issues. They're just like, yep, this is the direction we're going. They never pumped the brakes on anything. They never said, oh yeah, maybe in hindsight, maybe we do need more police to stop crime. No, we need more therapists and social workers and peacekeepers. I prefer my peacekeepers with 25 felonies. Because then they have experience in all these non-peaceful situations.
And peacekeeper just sounds like another word for Gestapo. They wonder who the actual fascists are. Speaking of Illinois, JB Pritzker has some thoughts on who the actual fascists are.
Times. For Donald Trump and the MAGAs in Congress, this is not about fighting crime or about public safety. This is about sowing fear and intimidation and division among Americans. It was about creating a pretext to send armed military troops into our communities. This is about consolidating power in Donald Trump's hands. What he plans to do with that power now or during the 2026 elections should worry all of us. When you add to that the Trump administration's effort to label as dangerous free speech critical of him, White House senior staff calling the Democratic Party fascist, the Trump-appointed FCC chair threatening to revoke broadcast licenses and the approval of a merger in order to silence late-night comedians, Trump's threats to jail political opponents. You cannot call this anything except an attack on the Constitution of the United States. But let's also talk about what he's doing to the economy.
Dude, I mean, they act like we didn't just go through all of this a couple of years ago. What they were doing the exact same thing.
Biden,
but now it's a problem.
Biden had YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Google remove right-wing accounts from their platforms, stop them from being able to say anything at all. And did you see YouTube lost a lawsuit and is going to pay Trump $24 million because they took down a bunch of his stuff during all of that stuff.
Yeah, they kicked him off of Twitter. They kicked the sitting president off of Twitter.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they arrested him, all of the people close to him, his attorney. Like,
how dare they call Democrats fascists though?
And these aren't even really like political opponents anymore. It's not like Donald Trump's running against James Comey or Letitia James. He's not running against them. Why would he go after? Like, you think he just woke up one day and he's like, I want to go after James Comey because he's a threat to me politically? No, it's political retribution. Okay, what's it retribution for? What did you guys do? Oh, we don't want to talk about that.
Somebody pointed out, I need to find it on the Comey thing.
I have some.
The Comey thing, it wasn't just Trump. It had to go through a court and a pretty liberal judge who approved who approved it. Like, it wouldn't have gone forward if it didn't get approval from the court. So, like, they're like, oh, this is just baseless claims. It's like, it had to go through court approval for them to indict him. Like, and it went through a pretty liberal court by all accounts. Like, yeah.
Right. And contrast that with like the legal gymnastics they did to try to bring charges on Republic. Like, it is just okay. So I have some Peacekeeper up. So yeah, this is on September 18th. Days ago, JB Pritzker was hyping black peacekeepers to patrol Chicago. One of the men he hyped has now been charged as being part of the mob that blocked traffic, looted the Louis Vuitton store, and murdered Mark Arcetta, 40, when they crashed into him fleeing the scene. That was one. There's a video of another one. Another one of his peacekeepers was just arrested. He punches a cop in the face. And then the cops arrest him. And there's a whole article here if you want to meet the peacekeepers who are working to create safer communities. Yeah, they gave him peacekeeping shirts and everything. It's official. And there's Pritzker sitting at a table, you know, all proud of himself.
That's how you know you've arrived, is they give you a T-shirt. Like, hey.
It is just like a level of stupid that I just can't fathom anymore. And when it gets so bad that like Trump's like, all right, now I'm sending in the National Guard. It's like, we don't need that. Everything's fine here. You fascist. All right. You know, it's like it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. They call him a fascist for 15 years. And then they destroy cities to the point where it's like, all right, I'm going to come in and use the National Guard to like patrol the streets. It's like, that's fascism. Because you now have the National Guard patrolling the streets. Well, is it not? I mean, I feel like there are a lot of people. I mean, I don't live in Chicago anymore. If I did, I'd rather have the National Guard patrolling the streets than these peacekeepers, personally. I feel like a lot of people would feel the same way. I would feel more safe if I saw National Guardsmen like standing on the corner than these peacekeepers plotting their next Louis Vuitton raid. I can't be the only one. I don't know. But he's a fascist. So, okay, let's shut it down. We don't want to do that. Why not? Shut down the fascist government. Let's go. Shut it all down. Anyway, let's take a second and thank our sponsor for today's show. That, of course, is the Expat Money Summit. It's coming up. It's in, 10 days? 11 days? October 10th through the 12th. Tomorrow's October 1st officially. We will not have a government. But you still will be able to access the internet. Go to expatmoneysummit.com, reserve your free ticket, and you can go listen to a wealth of knowledge on how to implement your plan B when it comes to your life and your finances, how to live abroad, how to maximize investment returns in other countries, all kinds of great stuff. Ron Paul's going to be there. I think Tom Woods, a couple other good speakers there. And then, of course, Mikkel Thorpe will be talking about how to work on getting residencies and the best places to relocate where he sees the most freedom and the most opportunity. And so if you want to escape the lawless government shutdown of the U.S., this is the first step to doing that. October 10th through the 12th, expatmoneysummit.com. And yeah, we like those good. A lot of good guys over there. Mark Clare works for them. Another one of my friends works for them too. They do good stuff. So go support them if you can. It's absolutely free unless you want to get the VIP treatment, and then you can pay a little extra for some extra content. But I'll be in attendance. Maybe I'll implement some of the things they talk about. Who knows? Could be some good opportunities there. Latin America being the focus of this year's summit. So.
Following up on fascism, we should really be worried about fascism coming to the United States, says Joy Reid. Trump is bringing us a level of fascism that we're not ready for, right?
Yes.
Is that if you go back before the 20th century, there were no income taxes, there were no regulations on business. You could earn as much money as you want, leave 100% of it to your children with no taxes. Right. That's the world they want back. And to get it back, they need society to change. They need people to be less modern. They need people to want fewer things.
Oh my God, you can make as much money as you want, leave it to your kids tax-free. And that's the fascism. You're right. That's the fascism we should be terrified of. Again,
where do I sign? That is something that I don't need you don't need my tacit implied consent for that contract. I'll sign that one. I will sign that one any day of the week.
Like I was saying earlier, like every right wing internet personality should be just plastering why the Democrats are pushing the government shutdown in order to get the free healthcare, or in order to guarantee healthcare for illegals. That is another clip that is like, this is what Trump wants. This is the fascism that you're supposed to be afraid of. Like
being able to keep all the money that you earn.
I was pretty pro-fascist anyway, and this just like, I mean, any doubt that I had, this just removed all of that.
I mean, I know we talk about this all the time on this, but it's like, yeah, there was no minimum wage, there was no federal income tax, there was no Social Security, no Medicare, no Medicaid, none of these government programs, and somehow we became the richest country on the face of the earth. Somehow, it's how did we do that, and how were there people? You know, I did a Substack on that where we were talking about Henry Ford. Like, he was paying his workers a shit ton of money back in those days. It was like $25 a week or something, $20 a week, $5 a day, that's an ounce of gold a week. Gold's $3,800 today. How many people are making $3,800 after taxes per week working a factory job? $38.55. It's up $22 again today, man. These precious metals are just fucking ripping, because the dollar is tanking. And yeah, I mean, how did we even function as a country? I mean, how did we have education? How did we have anything without the government being funded through all these taxes and everything? Somehow people were still going to college, still going to high school, still starting companies. People were still working. Nobody was like dying in the streets. We still had healthcare, still did. And you were able to purchase like catastrophic health insurance for practically nothing. You didn't have to get all of these things that you don't need covered in your government approved policy.
And then there's no way to get your money back, that you have to pay all this money in. You have all this health insurance that you may or may not use. And if you don't use it, then that's just money down the drain. You don't get that back. Whoopi Goldberg's really mad about that.
There are things we can fool with and things we can't. Healthcare is one of those things that you shouldn't be able to fool with. And insurance companies who you pay, I pay into my insurance, you pay into your insurance. I don't understand. If I don't go to the hospital for a whole year, where's my money? Why don't you give me the money back? Then you don't have to worry about it. Because I feel like, you know, I said this, okay.
We got Bill coming on.
I know we got Bill coming. But
Yeah, that's not how insurance, to be that old and have that's her hot take on insurance. That's a level of retardation that should not be allowed on TV.
Like, Whoopi, you do realize that Obama and the Obamacare are what required you to have this. Like, if you don't go to the hospital, you could choose not to have insurance. You could have just like catastrophic insurance. You could have stuff that would cover in the event that you had something really bad happen. Like,
yeah, it was like $5 a year or something. I forget. Erwin Schiff used to talk about Peter Schiff's dad was like sold this insurance, and he's like, yeah, it was like $5 for the year or whatever in like the 60s, 50s and 60s and shit like that for the catastrophic health insurance plan. Like if you get cancer, you get hit by a car or something like that, you're covered. But Obamacare comes along, you got to be covered for this, that, and the other thing, and you have to have insurance. And so, yeah, and then it incentivizes people because they know they're not getting their money back, like Whoopi would like if you don't use anything. So then they just go for everything. Every time they got a little sniffle, they go to the fucking doctor. It's they've done a tremendous job of destroying that industry, along with every other industry they've ever touched. I think we should shut it down. They don't have any successes that they can point to, and they're out of money. If this was any sort of company being run this way, It would have gone out of business a long, long time ago. And if they were like, could you imagine if the government went on Shark Tank to get funding, and they're like talking to Mr. Wonderful about their business plan, and like he's like, you need to take this out back and shoot it. You fail it, you suck at everything. Your product sucks. It costs too much, and you're out of money. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Of course you should shut it down. And or just go back to that fascism that Joy Reid was talking about, because that would be as close to utopia as we're going to get. Get rid of the income tax, get rid of the Federal Reserve. Let people keep the money they earn and do with it what they want. Give it to your kids tax free. You don't have to pay a 50% death tax if it's over, like, I don't know. I think it's a pretty high threshold for that. It's like 15 million or something, 30 million. But yeah, what are they doing with all the money they get? How about the fact that, forget about health insurance. How about the fact that they pay all this money in fucking taxes? I use nothing. Can I get my money back? I don't even live in the fucking country. I'm not even in the goddamn country. Can I get some of that money back? I didn't use anything. I didn't use the roads. I didn't use the schools. Didn't use any services. Nothing. Not even in the goddamn country. Still got to pay their taxes. Terrible deal. What else we got today? Just watching the market close here. Looks like it might close up on the day. Had a nice little afternoon rally here. Of course, I sat out the whole move.
I told you they're getting ready for that government shutdown. It's about to run up in the next couple days.
Yeah. Well, I mean, trading these all-time highs, I just expect it to keep running higher. I don't try to pick some sort of top. Yeah, came down, touched the previous structure. We're on our way back up. But yeah, I got a ways to go. About 270 points to get to new all-time highs on the NASDAQ futures. We'll see. But yeah, everything turned around today, except the dollar. That's down. How's my exchange rate doing? Terrible. 1832 now. Getting killed over here. Getting killed. Bitcoin's down, but it's at 114. Good. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of, you want to talk about? I'm not sure what this was. You sent this. This is the government grift EFT tracking.
Oh yeah.
It's
about fucking time. It's about time. So there's whispers that an ETF that tracks all of Congress's trades is going to launch this week. And does it give you the ticker in there? Grift, right? GF.
Yeah.
GRFT. Scroll up a little bit. Yeah. GRFT. As early as Friday. Yeah, not financial advice, but I'd imagine that ETF is going to do pretty well based on the historical trading performance of people in Congress. And as they always, as Congress has passed laws to say, you have to say that, past performance is no guarantee of future results. Don't invest anything that you can't afford to lose, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, this is like, so they've had this one guy has had this app, like the Pelosi tracker guy, that I think you had to pay for to get access to. This looks like it's going to do the exact same thing, and it's just going to track between 10 and 30 stocks and ETFs that these politicians are investing in. So this is your chance to get in, not on the ground floor, but because I think they have I forget how long they have to disclose their trades. It might be 90 days or something. So that's the unfortunate thing, is you're still playing catch up. But as long as these aren't really short-term plays, which I would imagine, they're not going to be tracking some sort of like quick move in and out that these guys are trying to do with their accounts. There'll be longer term plays that are going to have to, it might take, 6 months, a year to play out, something like that. And you can share in the corruption of Washington, D.C. This might be as good as it gets. I don't think we're ever going to get them to stop trading and all their insider trading bullshit. So, if they're going to become fucking billionaires, maybe we can ride their coattails to success. What does this say? One of Trump's connections to the crypto industry is Trump Media and Technology Group, which holds 15,000 Bitcoin worth $1.7 billion. Yeah, I mean, Trump's been doing like pump and dumps in fucking crypto, which is crazy. The government's now in favor of these stable coins. And we've talked about that before. The reason for that is because they need to sell treasuries. And if they can regulate these crypto stable coins and funds to require them to keep, like they do with banks, they require banks to hold a certain number of AAA rated assets. And of course, treasuries are always rated AAA. So that they have to, they're required basically to hold a certain number of treasuries on their balance sheet. The same thing holds true for this crypto bill that they're trying to push through. I don't think it's gone through yet. But when it does, and it probably will, I'm sure the lobbyists will be able to get it pushed through. All these stable coins will have to back everything with treasuries, which will create artificial treasury demand, which will allow the government to borrow more money that they can't afford to pay back. So, I don't know about, there's so many crypto ETFs. I personally don't really like those. I'd feel much more comfortable riding Nancy Pelosi's coattails than some crypto stuff. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. I'll be watching that one. I don't know if I'll put any money into it, but I'll certainly keep an eye on it. Yeah. We are going to close up on the day, boys. Let's see. I think so, unless there's, it could sell off here in the last 10 minutes, but maybe a break-even day for the for the NASDAQ. Dow's up a little bit. Dollar's down. What's we got anything else today? We get through everything.
I say nothing important. We got I've got a bunch of like Bill Maher clips. Bill Maher has been really good lately, and in the wake of Kimmel and Colbert and all the other late night, hosts being gay and stupid, Bill Maher has actually been a voice of reason, and he has been for a couple years now. Watching the slow turn of Bill Maher to being like a really just kind of a normie con type has been interesting. But I think that would be better like Friday fare to kind of round our week out. I don't really have anything else news wise. I don't know. Hadn't been a whole lot.
Oh, well, I saw there was that Mormon shooting. I don't know what I was kind of out and about. That wasn't yesterday. Is that Sunday? I think it was Sunday, right? That guy drove his truck into like a Mormon church and shot a bunch of people. And of course, the left is really excited about it because it appears he's a Trump supporter. Has that actually been confirmed?
They saw a
picture of him wearing like fishing. He was like fishing.
Oh no, that picture that you're talking about has been confirmed as AI altered.
The one that has the Trump logo on it.
Yeah.
Well, I just saw somebody saying that's the real one, and the other ones, it doesn't look like a real shirt.
Yeah.
Like who would it? It's like a camo shirt kind of, but like, and then they put like a regular Trump thing on it. Like it just doesn't look like that would be. it looks like a bad Photoshop job to my eye, and it just doesn't make sense as like like who would make a shirt like that? You would at least make, I don't know, it doesn't look right. Do you want to pull it up? Let's let the audience decide.
Oh, where is it?
But yeah, I mean, to me, it looks completely, it looks like a bad Photoshop job, but like also it just doesn't make sense that somebody would make a shirt with those colors. Like you can't even really see it. And, but anyway, of course, everybody ran with it, and they run with the Photoshop version. Yeah, that's the one. Like, why would you put that Trump thing on that pattern of a shirt? Like, for the listening audience, how would you describe that shirt?
It
looks like a jungle.
Yeah, and the logo looks very fakely applied. Like it looks like a bad Photoshop job.
Yeah, it's off-centered. It's kind of like on top of his wife's hair. I'm guessing that's his wife. And just, but the like you wouldn't put that image on that shirt. It just clashes, you know? It's like a blue, like a red, white, and blue Trump thing on top of like a jungle green background. It's not even like really visible. So I don't know. I thought that was the Photoshop version. And then there's another picture floating around of the shirt with the way a normal shirt would look without Trump's face on the front of a jungle, camouflage shirt. Either way, it's just like, I don't know, dude. This whole thing, like, oh, well, Republicans aren't saying anything about this, and they were calling this other guy like a leftist, blah, 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 blah. It's like, all right. Yeah, they also weren't like dancing in the streets celebrating that a couple people in a Mormon church got killed. So I don't know, this whole thing to like, I don't know, dude. How many people died in that one?
4.
And did he write anything on the bullets? Damn you Mormons.
And it's entirely possible that there was just something else going on.
Yeah, like a personal beef or something.
Yeah. Like he and the people of the church had some shit going on, and he decided, all right,
well, we don't know. Maybe he was firing off a celebration with the Mormon church.
There has been on more than one occasion like a school shooting, and they were trying to figure out why would this kid do this? And like the kid went to the school and shot 2 other kids who had and usually it's like his ex-girlfriend and her new boyfriend or something like that. Like sometimes there's just things going on that
like you could
politically motivated.
Exactly. Like you could have a political affiliation and shoot somebody, and the political affiliation had nothing to do with you shooting them. There is that. But when you're shooting a political figure when he's talking and you're writing stuff on the bullets, politically charged rhetoric, that would imply that it was politically motivated. Him driving into a church, I don't know. I haven't really seen much about it other than just people posting, be like, oh, look at this Trump supporter. Why aren't you guys talking about all this right-wing violence?
He had no party affiliation per Michigan's public voting records. He was not a registered anything. So,
but I saw him fishing, Justin. You know what that means? Only MAGAs go fishing.
Yes, only Republicans hunt and fish and do stuff like that. Like whenever doing like normal manly stuff gets you labeled as MAGA. Maybe left wingers, especially, and maybe that's why like young males are progressively identifying more and more as Republican. It's like, okay, like when just doing anything that's even like a little bit masculine means you're MAGA. Well, maybe that's what I want to be then. Like maybe I don't want to be some fucking fruitcake. Like if being a Democrat is going to get me labeled as that, then yeah, I'll go be MAGA all day.
Yeah, I don't know what like what these like the Antifas, like what do they do in their free time besides protests ICE? It's like, what are their hobbies? Like, I guess they like well, a lot of them are furries, but they do like video games, I guess. Is that it? Chat rooms and video games. They're not turning wrenches. I know that.
And
I turned a wrench earlier today. Believe it or not. I'm going to work on installing this bracket to put a speaker on my jet ski.
Yeah, there it is. He had a beef with the Latter-day Saints church because of I guess he and his girlfriend or whatever split up, and he blamed the church. So that was it. Had nothing to do with
perfectly normal, perfectly healthy reaction.
Had nothing to do with political affiliation. He was going after the fucking church, like that particular church. Not
yeah. Wait, can we just okay? Do you have the other picture of just the plain shirt? People need to see both versions of this. You tell me which, like, if you're just looking at this, which one looks like it was photoshopped, and which one doesn't. I don't know if you have it. Do you have it? I might be able to find it.
No, just look. I'm not seeing it.
If you just go like drill down into the comments of that post, probably somebody posted the other picture. Yeah, here. I'll send you this.
There it is.
You got it?
Yep, I found it.
So it's like, I don't know. To me, one of those looks obviously fake, and it's not the one on the left.
Right. Yeah. I mean, just when you look at this picture and the way this Trump thing is clipped into it, like that's not the way that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, the shirt on the left, I'm pretty sure I own that shirt, so that looks about right.
Yeah. But yeah, again, it doesn't appear. There don't appear to be big political motivations behind that one. It's unfortunate. Another shooting. Oh, do we have the Don Lemon clip? Should we do that one real quick? Did I send you that one? Probably not.
I don't have any
he was talking about there's a problem with white. Here we go. Because this is sort of on topic. We'll get out of here on this. Just send it to you. I actually haven't listened to it yet. I always love to hear what Don Lemon has to say. I'm sure it's very profound.
Always.
Men who look like you, men who vote like you, and men who sound like you. White men, something is broken. Something is cracked deep inside when so many of you believe the answer to fear, to loss, to change is violence. Are you listening to me? I hope I'm saying it loud enough for the people in the back.
Well, nobody's listening to you.
Who are the people in the back? I thought black people were the ones who had to ride on the back of the bus.
I mean, this is just again, like, yes, every time it's like one of these, like a real, like what you would historically consider to be a mass shooting, like at a school or something, it's a white man. But if we're just talking about violence being the answer, this is a black guy scolding white guys on violence, being too violent, using violence as a as a means to. And by the way, there was just this poll that came out like a week, like right after the Charlie Kirk assassination. That was just like the number of the percentage of Democrats who believed violence was justified to achieve political ends. And it was like 40% of young Democrats. Now that will include white men for sure, but it also includes a lot of people of color on that Democratic Party. But yeah, it's like, I think your odds of being like a black man being killed by a black man, it's like 1 in 20 something. What was that stat? But it's just like, it's much higher in the black community, the violence. So it's like, if we're gonna tackle the, you know, like he's doing the with the immigration thing. He's like, okay, let's deport the worst first. Let's get rid of the biggest problem first, and then we can kind of work our way down. Well, if we're gonna deal with violence in our communities, which area should we focus on first, Justin? One of the small, like, should we just go to the Asians? Because the Asians have almost no violence in their community. Should we start there and work our way up to whoever has the high? I don't know. I don't have the stats in front of me. You know, which community has the highest level of violence per capita? I know it's not white men, though. No, it's not. And it's not Asians. And it's not Hispanics. Although Hispanics are higher than whites. And a lot of times they're included as white Hispanics or something to inflate those numbers.
That's my favorite one. White people of color.
Yeah, or you see those, they're mug shots. It's like some black dude and it's listed as Caucasian.
It's like he was trying, that's where you catch him. He listed himself as Caucasian on his driver's license, trying to get in on that white privilege. That's what it was.
Yeah, wait till they figure that white privilege isn't all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah,
still waiting for whatever I'm supposed to get. But yeah, I don't know. That'll do it for today, I suppose. Kind of a slow. Feels like a slow. I mean, here it's like absolutely dead now, like the doldrums of September. And it's hot and it's humid and it's sunny. So I'm ready to call it an afternoon before I melt in this room. But we'll be back on Friday. Or wait, will we?
Maybe.
We don't know yet.
We'll find out tomorrow.
Pending Justin's esophagus. If not, I'll do like a solo episode or something Friday, put that out for you guys. But hopefully Justin will be. What's the best case scenario?
I mean, best case scenario is I get to have surgery and be done with this.
Before Friday or after Friday?
Usually they do their surgeries on Fridays and Tuesdays. So
okay. So you could be going under the knife on Friday.
Possibly. Unlikely. I think it's probably more probable that it'll be next Tuesday, but we'll see.
Okay. Well, either way, I'll be around. And maybe even a happy hour. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But thank you so very much for listening. And until next time, you guys know what to do. Just keep on peddling that so-called fiction. Peace.